Right, I'm Omar.
Standing
This way. I'm Omar in real life and on the internet on this bird. They don't have it.
I'm Joshua, and on the internet I'm Joshua.
And okay, so today we're talking about a project from the memetics lab where we work at ORI called Anatomy of an Internet Argument. And another name, I guess, for what this project is how to propagate love in a war zone, which is the hostile internet. So, okay, so let me explain what it is. One way to explain that is that it's a game where we try to change people's minds and report back. Okay, and here's an example from a few days ago where so I tweet, I say basically like I love this TV show, and then this guy comes in and he's like, this thing you love is a shitload to brain rot the masses. So that feels pretty bad. How do you respond to something like this?
I would probably tell him to fuck off.
Right. I think most people either not respond, block the guy, or do that. But either way, it kind of feels pretty bad. It feels like shit. Okay, so here's what I did. I said something, and then he says, "Wow, that's the best possible thing you could have said to the thing I said." Will do. Okay, so what did I say? What could you say to trigger a response like that? I'm going to show you a wrong answer. Like, here's what I wanted to say, like the first instinct. I wanted to say, well, it sounds like you think you can do better. Where's your masterpiece, huh? That's like, okay, so what I actually said was like the same information content as this. But if I actually said that, he would have, responded with same thing. This is very hostile. So I basically said this, which is what I wanted to say, but I sort of framed it in a good faith way. So what I actually said was, it sounds like, basically I'm saying, it sounds like you have a vision of utopia that's better than this, because that's what the TV show's about. And I said, I'd love to read it. And then the critical piece that I've highlighted here is that I sort of assume good faith, because it could be that this guy really does have a better vision that if I were to hear it would blow my mind. And if that were true, he might not have it written down yet. It may be in his head, maybe he's been thinking about it for years, and he's been wanting to write it. Maybe if I ask him and nudge him, maybe this will inspire him to write it. So I'm actually genuinely assuming that he has that, and if he were to give it to me, it would improve my life. So that's it. That's the thing. You assume, you actually genuinely assume good faith. You don't fake it. This is basically saying like, I don't think you have a vision of utopia. I don't think you have anything that would help me. And this is like giving him the benefit of the doubt, like genuine. And okay, I don't know if you've seen this. Apparently Lana Del Rey has a secret Twitter account. So this is I have this here because I'm like, imagine the person you're talking to is like a brilliant genius, and like, you just don't know who he is. So this could be the alt of someone brilliant. So like, if it helps, imagine famous brilliant people are behind the accounts, and that maybe if you are nice to them, you'll learn something. We'll get back to this. Not as important here. Okay, another way to think about it is this theater. It's kind of a game. It's theater that restores your faith in sort of humanity. So this is what it looks like when it works, where people are like, wow, this civil Twitter exchange is a true Christmas miracle. It's like they don't believe it. Or this one where he's like, wow, I'm glad you're the kind of guy who can accept a correction. This is very rare on Twitter. Like, I've never seen this before. Like, it blows people's mind when we have like a good conversation on Twitter. Or this one, which I didn't even cause, I just observed this one. This guy says, it's unbelievable that one can find an honest person on the right. And the funny thing is, like, people are like so shocked about this, but I think this happens all the time. Like, I think it's a myth that the internet arguments are terrible. From my perspective, like, nobody's actually trying. People just assume it sucks, and so it sucks. Yeah, and I was gonna say here that, like, I think the reason this matters so much to me personally is because I have very thin skin. So this, like, I'm very sensitive. So if I didn't have this sort of technique, I couldn't write on the internet. Like I have 10,000 followers or whatever, and I've been writing for a while, and I would just stop writing on the internet because this stuff like gets me. It does hurt me, and I don't want to like close up. I don't want to be less vulnerable and open, because that's why I'm here. That's what feels good. So this is sort of a way for me to stay to be able to keep doing this, I guess. Yeah, I'm very proud of this. I've never blocked anyone. People have blocked me, but I don't block them. I never block them. Okay, so that last sort of explanation, like what this is, it's basically like a social protocol that we've designed, or we're actively designing and testing. And so what this is saying here is like, okay, most people here read Les Strong or have read Les Strong, a rationalist blog. Yes. Yeah, you don't need to raise your hand. I know. So Les Strong is great because they have the protocol of like surfacing truth and like the good ways of debating truth, and it's great. But it only works inside that small bubble. So what this is designed to do is to work asymmetrically. It should work even if you're the only one following this protocol. It should still allow you to like find truth, surface truth, or propagate the whatever it is you're trying to propagate. And if the other person also does it, then it spreads even more. And like here's examples of it spreading. Here's someone who, like I don't have any presence on Instagram, but here's someone who was saying like he read this stuff and then he tried to debate someone in good faith on Instagram, and he came pretty close to changing their minds. And the important part here is even, like it doesn't matter what it does for the other person, it matters what it does for you. So you're saying like it feels good. Like he saw something that first made him like, it's the same thing as what I had. Like he felt bad at first, he was just gonna move on and just feel bad the rest of the evening, but then he went in, talked about it, now he just feels great. And that's kind of the whole point of this project. It's what it does for you. And here's an example of it. The other way it sort of spreads is, when people see like a good resolution to an internet argument, and then when we write about it and sort of analyze it like this, they're like, first of all, wow, this is possible. So, I might be able to do that, but also because we're doing this theater thing, they're like, well, if I have a good, if I like I'm on my best behavior, maybe these guys will write about it, which actually changes people's behavior, which is like a really good like cycle. Recursive, like positive sum win-win cycle. Okay, so that's what this thing is. The rest of this, we have a lot of time, right? Yeah. So we're gonna get into do some live analysis here. So what I want is to sort of give you like some of the basic rules, because what we're trying to do, I guess, is like this is the first time we're sort of putting together like the simplest set of rules that you can sort of know how to play this game.
The whole point is like we're trying to get you guys to give this a shot. So I assume just about everybody in this room has gotten into some kind of internet argument before. Maybe it's gone really well. If it has, we want to hear from you. And if it hasn't, here's some things that you can try. Again, we'd love you to go out there and try them and report back. And if it doesn't work, like we will help you diagnose.
Well, that's part of the point. It's like these rules have been working, and if you try it in a scenario, either you're doing it wrong, or the rules need to be updated or have an edge case.
Yeah.
So it's like a social protocol that we're actively engineering together, participatory safety. Okay, these are the axioms. This is kind of like something maybe you could like put on your bathroom mirror in the morning and read.
Chant it 3 times in front of the mirror.
Something like that. It's let's see. Yeah. And you don't have to necessarily like believe. Like people have a really hard time with like the first two, for example. But don't worry about believing this. This is only true in the game. We're playing a game here. We're playing a game where we're pretending that this is all true, and then see how it feels. That's the point. So everyone you meet is arguing in good faith. Everyone is rational. By that I mean if you tell them a reason why they're wrong, they will change their beliefs. It's not enough to understand them, you have to show them you understand them. No one's going to change their mind if it feels like they're going to lose by changing their mind. So you want not you versus them and who's going to win, it's both of you versus the incorrect thing.
you're making them feel like they're dumb or they're not as good as you, or you're coming out
Or they're just
swinging,
gonna-
like, put up or shut up, they're not going to change their minds. And then, yeah, like a lot of us think that rationalism is, you know, it precedes the cart, but it actually is the cart, and the horse is the intuitive mind.
Yeah, this is the thing that, you know, I don't know if everyone in this room believes this, but it's true. Well, I feel it's true. And this is important because, like, stop trying to throw facts at people, because they're not going to change their mind by just you giving them, like, factual information.
Can't fact them to death.
This is a good essay on it, and they sort of explain why is it that facts don't change people's minds. And the important takeaway for me is I think of it as this is a feature, not a bug of human cognition. It actually performs a useful function, and so we should understand that instead of just like thinking it's a bad thing that we try to eliminate, because we can't eliminate it because this is how human cognition works. I think, you know, I sort of think of it as like this, like even like, you know, the smartest people that we sort of think of like truth seeking, like a scientist, when they see an outlier fact, they don't just abandon their model. They try to figure out, well, like maybe this outlier is an instrument error, or maybe the model just needs to be tweaked. Like you're not just gonna toss your worldview because you saw a fact that doesn't fit in. You'd actually rather have a bad model than
no model at all.
Yes. Yeah. So that's basically it. Like, people are stubborn. It'd be nice if people change their mind more. Why people just believed what I believe, but I think I actually think the world would be a little worse if people let go of their beliefs too easily. A lot of beliefs are like load bearing. They perform some function, and if you figure out what that is, if you know, you can change it with much less pain and much less unintended side effects. So that's the idea. Does this make sense? Cool. Okay, and then there's one big barrier to understanding people, which there's a nice phrase here. Have people heard this? Love is epistemologically necessary. Have you seen this thread? Went viral a while ago. Well, it's a good one. A good one too. Luli sort of coined this, and this has to me been like a phrase that I've been repeating a lot. So she explains, like, in order to understand someone, you need to start with love, which maybe sounds counterintuitive, because it's like if you learn about them, then you love them, but actually it's the other way around. And the reason for that is because when you find someone saying something stupid or evil, and now you're trying to understand them, now you already sort of see them as dumb or stupid or evil. But if you can't see a way that a good and reasonable person would say this thing, then that's basically going to be like a cognitive handicap from you finding out why they would say that. So you sort of have to start with, like, assume that they're a good, reasonable person. Now, why would a good, reasonable person say the thing? Kate Hall had an essay where she discovers the same thing. She's like, every human believes they're the hero of their own story. So if you want to understand them, start with that. Start with, like, assuming that in a world where they're the good person, even though they said this like crazy thing that only an asshole would say. Okay, put that aside. They are an asshole, but put that aside. What if, like, in what world am I the asshole, and they're the good person? Now, in that world, let's go in and let's figure out how to understand what they're saying. Okay, we're here. Those are the axioms.
Yeah.
Now,
So this is the meat. These are basically the 4 rules or the 4 steps. So number 1, understand the other guy first. So
you can do this.
Yeah, by all means. So as he just said, it's like if you don't understand where the other person's coming from, you're not going to be able to bridge the gap. So understanding the other guy is like the bronze medal, and then getting the other guy to understand you, obviously the silver medal, and then convincing them or getting them to change their mind is the gold. And so one of the reasons he's won every single internet argument he's gotten into is because he doesn't go for the gold first, he starts at the bronze. Let me just try to understand this person. If I can't, I'm going to back off.
I think this is important because, gold and silver are outside your control, but bronze is fully in your control. So that's why it's like you can always, every argument is winnable by this standard, by the fact that you can at least get the bronze. Okay. And then what does it mean to understand it? Like, you can't just award yourself bronze if, again, you're like, well, that guy said something stupid and I can tell why it's because he's stupid. That's not the answer. That doesn't count. It only counts, like, don't lie to yourself. Like, you have to, like, how do you know they understand it? And one way to do that is if you repeat back what he's saying or sort of add to his point, and then he says, yeah, exactly, you get it. You're on my side. Like, I see that you definitely understand what I'm saying. If you can get that, that's...
There's an element of prediction as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're trying to guess what he would say or like extend it into a new area.
Right, if you can do that, then you understand them, and then he has to confirm.
And he will, because he's so excited that you're on his side.
Do we do the... Well, I mean, this is the case study.
Yeah.
These are the case studies we have. Okay. I mean, this is like an example.
We're not sponsored by TL Drop, by the way. We just really like it.
Yeah, I don't know if this is readable, but I'm saying so. This is just an example of someone where I started with. He was like, "That's." I tried it, and I'm like, repeating back what I thought he said exactly. And he's like, "That's not remotely accurate." And I was actually pretty pissed off because I'm like, "No, I did get it. You're just upset. You just don't want to give me my bronze." But then 2 days later, I got him to. He said, "You summarized my core points beautifully." And I mean, there's kind of a long thing here, but I think the gist was that I had to sort of demonstrate curiosity. It took a while. I also, like, the other human on the other side of the screen had to diffuse. Like, I think he was angry at first, and then we had to sort of diffuse that, and over a few days, back and forth, where I was like trying to get it. And actually, the fun part is that I realized I didn't understand him. Yeah. I was wrong. I thought I was so smart, and I was like, that guy's such an idiot, but I'm going down to his level, and he wouldn't give me my bronze because he's stupid. Yeah. But it was me. I was the one. I was the bad guy. So that's why I was like, I don't let myself win unless I can get that confirmation, and because a lot of times it turns out I'm not as smart as I think I am.
Right. So that was one of the core things, is like to try to get the handshake or confirmation.
Which is the next thing.
And when you didn't do it, you backed off and came back later, tried again.
Well, explain the handshake. Yeah, you want to do that?
Where is it?
Oh, it's the next slide.
Okay, so this one's tragic. we hate it when this happens. Angel loses their wings.
Okay. So I mean, because this is actually a pretty funny pattern. This happens a lot on the internet. This one is weird. It's weird because Apple says, and it's anonymized, but Apple says, basically, can you explain to me how this thing is actually good? I'm open to hearing. So it seems like a good faith question, right? Very curious, open, not. And the other guy is like, no, goodbye.
Block.
So that doesn't make any sense. You're like, the only explanation you could think here is like, the other guy just isn't interested in good faith debate, right? But I remember the rules of the game are, the other guy is a good, reasonable, beautiful soul. Why would a good, reasonable, beautiful person say no goodbye to my innocent good faith question?
Because they don't trust that you're operating in good faith.
Exactly. Wait, did you cheat?
He cheated. He saw us working on this.
Or-
No, I'm just
It's obvious.
You're just.
This is like one of my biggest talking points.
Yeah, it's totally right.
Yes.
Do you guys cheat? Have you been reading my blog post?
Yes. Yes. Of course.
So you have to show. You
get
have to, you have to gain the trust. You have to show them.
That was a handshake.
Yeah.
This is what you have to show them, that you need to show them that if they take the time to explain to you that you might change, and that you're not just waiting for them to say something so that you need to nitpick it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, nobody likes getting dumped on.
And I guess we could do is it direct or not yet? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God, this one's classic.
How does the handshake work?
Good question.
Yeah. You put it in here, right?
Actually, this is a good example of it.
So this
yeah.
was
Well-
the correct answer.
You realize we can't read anything on the screen.
I did not realize that.
Well, yeah, I'm
That's the
gonna. Yeah.
The screen is both pixely and not very bright.
It moves around, so I can see some motion, which is cool.
That helps.
Turn off the light.
See it better.
I mean, we will read it. We'll
The
read
light
it out.
switch is there.
Somebody
Turn it
did
off.
it. You want to try it out?
Can you try?
Can try.
Trying.
Never mind.
Alexa, turn off the light.
We're solving problems collectively.
Yeah, let's just read everything that we put on the screen.
Yeah.
Or explaining the trust handshake. I mean, generally, you basically, like, the goal is to show them that you're willing to change your mind, but how do you actually do that? There's different ways to sort of
That's fine.
gain their trust, and I guess this is an example of one.
Slightly improved.
So this is an example of one where I'll read this out too. But so this guy, we're talking about like socialism versus capitalism or something, and I ask a question, and the guy says, "Do you think, or is your brain like your rectum?" And then I say something, and then he says, "Okay, I'm sorry for being impolite," and then he explains. So. Similar thing here. If I had just asked him like, "Hey, can you just explain to me the thing?" He would have not responded, or he would have just continued, yelling at me. No. So I mean, think for a minute. Like, what would you say? Like, how do you gain?
How do you respond to, do you think, or is your brain like your rectum? Because that's classic.
You just ignore it and move on.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
But
That's
in
what
this
I would have
case,
done.
but in this case, I like really wanted to know. Like, this person said, like, he's telling me like I'm wrong, or like the thing I said is not true, and I really want to know what is the truth. Like, he seems like he knows something, and I want to know what he knows.
Try and get that juicy knowledge.
I really wanted to know. And so then this one is this very simple technique, which is, I mean, first of all, I sort of like, this is not necessary, but like I sort of lowered myself a bit here, like allowed him to sort of give me that punch, but that's not really the important point. I think the second point is the important one, where I sort of helped him help me. So I said, here's my current understanding of the thing.
This is what I think.
And that helps a lot, because instead of him trying to explain it in a way that might not land with me, and now he's kind of vulnerable, because that hurts his own confidence in the truth of what he's saying. If he explains and it does not convince me, that's sort of some doubt. He looks bad. But if I tell him, like, okay, here's my current understanding, and that helps him say, like, okay, well, that's the part you're missing. It makes it much easier. So the reason that he gives trust is because it's like an unfakeable signal. Like, it's easy to ask, just tell me. But if I take the time to write out my current understanding, it sort of shows effort, and that expansion of effort makes a big difference. Oh, we're doing. I told you. I thought it was an hour.
Oh, wait, is it?
It used to be.
Actually, can we check? Do we have 5 minutes?
No,
or
we have 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Can you send the slides on
Yeah, because these are good slides.
Yeah, we're gonna have to share
that? Can we
them.
train an LLM
On the
taking
slides?
our
No, I don't want to
train
train LLMs on this.
and then giving me
Because
be good answers.
It has to be the human has to do it. Let's
So
do the one
we'll
tool.
We'll jump into a couple of experiments. So Postscope is something that Human Compressed created. It's a really cool tool. I encourage you guys to check it out. I extended that a little bit and built a few different tools based on this. So the first one was trying to take a thread, and I think it was, which one was it? I can't find it.
I think it was the very beginning.
Was it the very first one? The shellac one? No, I think I took the one from you. Oh my god, I'm stressed out.
I can't
There's
read
not
it
enough
anyway, so
time.
just.
Yeah, but you could see the lines, right?
No.
Let's see.
Okay, this is it. Zoom out.
Just a graph.
Yes, so there's a graph. So I'll share this with you guys later, but basically what this is I've taken the tweets, run them through an LLM to classify them according to different axes, and these ones are symbolic and moral versus material and technical, top to bottom, and closed tribal versus more open on the other side over here on the right.
Can I get context?
Yeah.
So do you remember this one where this guy we started with this is not remotely accurate, and then he says, you summarized my points beautifully.
Yeah.
Okay, so we took that conversation, me with this guy, put it through his tool,
Yeah.
and this is the sequence of tweets. So each tweet here is somewhere on this graph, and this graph shows you meanness and openness.
Yeah.
So
Closed and tribal over here on the left, material and technical on the bottom, symbolic and moral at the top, and open at the right. And so you can see they're just having a normal conversation back and forth about the legalities of software licenses and ethics and whatnot. And then Defender comes in asking a question, and then the guy responds, and he's basically like, no, that's not right. And then Defender comes in again, and he's like way more open and way more symbolic and moral. He's
Sorry, what are the colors?
constructively reopening. So the colors are just derived based on the emoji. And so the emojis are like symbolic representations of the sort of thrust of the tweet. So what you can see here is Defender replies over here in this quadrant, the guy kind of pulls back, Defender pulls him back again, the guy pulls back, and Defender's basically walking him over to the open and symbolic moral side to where they get the handshake. It's like, you summarized my core points beautifully. So this sort of visualizes the move through the conversation.
And I like this a lot because it's sort of, this is in my head what I'm trying to do. Like it's like landing a plane, or like the plane is crashing as the conversation is literally spiraling out of control. I see this all the time. Like, you know, you take one wrong step and the guy's like, well, you're an idiot, and it just spirals down. And like the whole game is like, what interventions can you do to pivot?
What lever do you
Upward.
yank
Yes.
to try to bring it back? So we're just about out of time. I wanted to show one more thing that might appeal to this crowd. So you guys might be familiar with the monogamous discourse. It's another thing you can push through. And I created a version that breaks it out into clusters. So this is nuanced relational contextualists, feminist boundary enforcement, cynical mocking anti-idealists, anti-poly backlash / social order anxiety, and traditionalist moral condemnation. So the thing is,
Are these
you
different axes
can,
or the same axis?
what's that?
Are these different axes?
So it derives the axes to try to separate the tweets as much as possible. So contextual nuance at the top, accepting pluralistic at the right, and then you expect the opposite of that in the other direction. So the cool thing is, it's like you can turn a thread that you'd be like trying to wade your way through individual tweets into something that you can more coherently understand at a glance. And then the real fun one that I made lately is this one, where it deconstructs the thread into a series of arguments. And the green lines are ostensibly arguments that extend the previous argument, and the red ones are arguments that contradict them. So again, you can sort of see a particular rational construction of what is being alleged and argued for and against in the thread, and you can sort of link that back to the original tweeters who are tweeting these things. So I'm really fascinated by these visualizations of like, how do we make sense of all this data? Because to me, threads are noise mostly, but in this format, like you can actually make sense of what's going on, and you can say, oh, public condemnation signals positive social norms, right? That's an argument that we can form ideas about and then respond to, versus getting entrenched in like all the conflated arguments that usually come through in one tweet. So that's part of the thrust of like what we're doing active research on, and we're just about at time. So thank you very much. Did you want to add?
I think that's it. Thank you.
This is so fucking cool.
Thank you.
There are a few questions, and can we get the lights going?
We do a couple.
So scary in the dark.
Alexa, turn on the lights.
Okay, how do we get this in time?
That works.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Well, I can send it to Anne, and Anne can distribute it somehow. Or
I got the
I think
thumbs up.
Matthew's making a WhatsApp group chat.
great, I'll put it there.
Yeah.
Or we can also email.
Chat.
Yeah, any other?
Questions, comments?
So this measures the tone of what they say. Does it also track whether what they say is true or not?
That's really hard to do. So no, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's really subjective, right? Like language is super flexible. So if you're trying to make a really rigid and like coherent argument about what's factually true and what's not, that's going to expand almost combinatorially, or you have to really agree on what your axioms are.
Is it true that Norway is socialist?
I don't know.
So Norwegian?
Right, I would actually say like the whole game here
It's
isn't
it's
isn't about
capitalist,
like
okay?
who's right, what's true. It's about like if
exchange information. In a way
right,
that-
like if the other guy has any truth, how do I get him to just tell me what that is? Because half the time, I don't know if you notice this, half the time people are like, that guy's stupid. I'm like, okay, why is he stupid? Can you just tell me like what is the information you have about him that would help me decide?
Do you guys know the game Go Fish? Imagine playing Go Fish where somebody was like, I don't like your face, go fuck yourself. Versus somebody's like, oh yeah, I have that one, here you go, do you have that one? And it's like an equal exchange.
I love that. That's kind of what the game is supposed to be. Yeah.
It's go fish with friends, not go fish with enemies.
Other questions?
So for those of us who have like a fair number of followers and we get engaged in fairly controversial topics, one decision point you face is like, okay, here's an anonymous account, they've got a dumb anime icon, they're obviously a sociopathic troll.
Obviously.
How do you make the cut between, okay, I'm going to undertake this huge cognitive effort to engage in good faith according to these
Right.
very wonderful communication norms, versus I just ignore them and I don't engage at all?
Yeah.
Versus what I'm often tempted to do is like a reactive, dismissive, nasty, or block.
Right. So I
Reaction.
think this is a great question. So you should apply these things in only if they serve your purpose. So for example, the anonymous 10-follower anime PFP. If you suspect they have information about this, like a rebuttal that you're interested in figuring out, you can use these techniques to extract that. That's when you do it. Okay, if you are not interested in that, then you should just ignore them. The other reason you might engage, even if you don't think they have any information that's useful for you, is if they're influencing other people's opinion. And this is really important.
Appeal to the audience.
Yes. Well, because if you don't, then basically one frame I have is that imagine a impressionable 14-year-old is reading, all this exchange, and they're sort of believing whatever they read. And those are the people like you want to convince. So if they see something without a rebuttal, they're like, well, yeah, even if it has like a very obvious reason why it's wrong, they might still believe it. So it's often better, like if not you as like the notable person responding, if sort of other people, this is why I sort of do this, like other people who are just sitting around who want to help, instead of them going, yelling at the enemy BFP, they can just calmly say like the reason this is false is so and so that the impressionable teenager reading it has the information. That's it. That's the right.
Kind of triangulate.
Yeah. Good question. Yeah.
I would say it's more of a comment kind of tying into like dating and matchmaking stuff, where I've noticed that in doing dating coaching, matchmaking, people who are like aesthetically aware or want that versus other people is like seems to be a thing, right? It's basically those people, aesthetically aware people that are dating or want to date should have like their own groups, because it's just otherwise it like becomes a whole thing. And I've seen it like a bunch of times where it's like, oh, but like if she could just understand if it was true in this way, whatever. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that this really like clarified that for me, and I don't talk about it whether I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, if I understand what you're saying, right, is like it's sort of what I got at the beginning, where like within Less Wrong, there's a community where like they have the standards that you want, and you can just do that. And if someone breaks those standards, then you don't have to waste time on them. And this sort of is like, well, okay, what about the people outside that circle? Can I lift up those standards?
But
I guess.
like, what if they're, they didn't study these topics and or like not that, but they could, but yeah, it's like where is that kind of gray area?
Right. I don't think it's like your responsibility to sort of like do that, but it's like if you do want to do that, it can be done, which is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I think that the whole point was like technically this can work with anybody, but it's kind of a waste of your time to try to use it with everyone. So it's like learn the techniques, practice them, and then try to use them when it feels appropriate. And that's an ongoing thing.
Last question, Malcolm?
Yeah. There's so much that excites me about this and resonates with my stuff. I wanted to come back to the specific thing you said of like, you can't control getting the gold or silver medal, but you can control getting the bronze. That is conditional, I'm inferring, on them continuing to interact with you, in the sense that like, if they in fact give up, then you can't. But I sense also that you've developed substantial skill at getting them to continue to interact with you.
Really good.
And if you could say a little, I wanted to sort of make that comment. But
this
say more about it. 'Cause
So I like the worst outcome is like they stop responding. And in fact, like it's actually people like they're very skittish. The trolls are skittish. This is why the trolls block me. I don't block the trolls. So you try to you get into like you give them love and actually they recede. So you actually have to be very careful with how you do that. And so you sort of you sort of have to speak their language. But this is part of the reason why we made all these tools, because a lot of times I will try to gain the information from them. They stop, they give up. But I'm like, okay, I need to find someone else who fits that archetype, who fits that belief. And so like the post-scope thing is like, here's like, 100 replies to this viral tweet and like 50 of them or whatever have this opinion. So it's like I try with one of them, it fails again.
oh yeah, so you can like seek out your answers to your own blind spots.
Yeah. And in fact, sometimes you like fall, like you go down a discussion tree and you say something that like makes them say like, wow, you're really stupid. You're just asking them questions and then like, that's a really stupid question, they block you. I'm like, damn it, okay, now I know what that response does. Now when I go to someone else with that same pattern, I now know where that's gonna go, so I try something else. So that's it.
It's like a little Groundhog Day.
Yeah, no, I think
get to iterate
there
more
are patterns,
yeah.
And then the beautiful thing is when you find something that works, you test it again, find another person like that, and then go down the same tree, be like, okay, it still works. And then the missing piece, which is why we're doing all this, is when I find the formulas for a specific type of speed, I want to publish it in a small like little booklet, and then you take it and try it, and if it's still fresh, if it's still working, it'll work, and you see if you can scale that up. And then if it stops working, you report back, you file a bug request. I mean, we're like they've changed their beliefs, and sometimes it's like they've let go of that stupid belief, and it's like, okay, great, they fixed it. So that's it then. All right. Thank you.